Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. First of all, I'm not gay and I'm not a conservative. Recently, Gavin Newsom made a speech to a bunch of people who were dressed in purple. They look like people who are pretty nice people who have been led astray by people who speak in a sort of code, right? Propaganda. Hidden in plain view, coded language. They kind of laugh behind their backs and say, this is what I meant by this, right? Okay. So let's start off with what I consider very obvious here. 60% of Americans or so live paycheck to paycheck, right? And in almost every single case, if not every single case, they're being treated unfairly. And of the other 40%, a lot of them, at least part of them, don't think that people should be treated unfairly. Pretty straightforward, right? So therefore, people do not want a system of child molestation. Most people do not approve of child molestation, and people are still arrested for child molestation. A lot of people have been molested as children, and they know what it's like, and they don't approve of it. So it's not fair for the government to say to me through their workers, in the governing class, Zuckerberg, Jensen, whoever's doing it, right? Musk, whoever's doing it. And I'm sure it goes way deeper than that. These massive corporate partnerships, I'm sure they're just scapegoating these guys. It's not fair for them to tell me that the people don't want me around. You're coercing them to harass me. Some of them are racist, some of them are jerks, but the vast majority of them, they're just trying to live their lives, what have you. It's safe to say that. It's safe to say that they don't want your occult system and your broken economy. It causes them a lot of harm. And it causes a lot of harm to their friends and family and to their community. Pretty straightforward. Now let's talk about universal morals so I can help you understand my next point. If somebody was vibrating with righteous intensity to a higher degree than everyone else as a result of cultivating moral precision every generation, I mean universal, what most people would consider universal, not white social norms, but universal. For example, it's wrong to rape a kid. It's wrong to play stupid about your kids being raped, etc. Universal morals. It's wrong to kill someone for no reason. It's wrong to steal from somebody in a way that's unfair, to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. Right? If it's stealing, it suggests it's unfair. Well, I'll make sure you understand that I'm right here. Universal morals. When somebody lives these things better than everyone else in a more precise manner, and they're striking at world record speed in the righteous state of mind that they're in, the state of being, they're more righteous than other people are. They're more intensely righteous. For example, the sun is harder than your car when it overheats. Okay? So that's also a universal truth. And to deny that is universally immoral. You follow me here? So maybe in your religion, if you happen to have pink hair or something or whatever, that you might be considered more righteous. But universally speaking, that's not true. And when we hear the word justice, we think universal. And some people enter their white supremacy twist, Jewish supremacy, LGBT. Maybe they're in the ghetto and it's black or Hispanic, and there's certain racial supremacists who twist things. And some of them cause more damage than others. No offense to anybody. These are the facts. So when Gavin Newsom said that they wanted the rule of law and not the rule of the dawn, he was actually wrong, depending on how you define these things. And how they're defining them is by their actions. They're politicians. They lie to you. They spit propaganda. Okay? We have no reason to believe that he's not in the pockets of corporate. We have no reason to believe that he's not just another corporate puppet. Same with everyone else you're seeing at these main speakers at these protests, these other politicians, these other very public figures, what have you. Pretty straightforward. Some people are shadow banned, their videos are suppressed, they're censored for small things, for petty things, and some people they let get away with bloody murder, and they get lots of views. Pretty straightforward. The people don't like to be cheated. That's logical to assume, right? It's logical to assume that people don't want to be cheated. And they don't want you to persecute the most righteous person that ever lived, the person who has achieved the highest degree of righteous intensity, which is me. the top martial arts ever possible. Martial is marital scrambled, and I, Christ, and the bridegroom. If you're not religious, there's that universal moral. My religion is not Christianity, Islam, Judaism per se. It's universal pinpoint and moral precision. And any interpretation of those religions that isn't my religion. That's straightforward. That's simple. So you think that the people prefer what you described as the best of Greece and Rome, and in this society we have a lot of child molestation, just like they had in Greece and Rome. But in a lot of indigenous societies they didn't. Again, in a lot of indigenous societies they did not have a lot of child molestation. There's no reason to believe they did. That's something that comes with, people often molest children when they can't get a date. In a lot of indigenous societies, they would arrange marriages. I don't approve of it, but they had various ways that they dealt with these things so that children weren't raped. And when people had a problem, they had more effective ways of dealing with it instead of stupid Roman and Greek politics in their modern day form. Okay, and the corrupt political system that they have, where both parties agree that it's a swamp, and that Donald Trump got elected partially on the idea that he would drain the swamp. So they don't want the rule of your stupid, sick politics while you all pretend to be in the right when you're all in the wrong together. That's straightforward. They do want the rule of universal pinpoint and moral precision because I would end homelessness. I'd build millions of affordable housing units. I'd have a massive farming program. I'd have a fair tax system. I'd restructure the school system in a way that's precisely right, where no one has a viable counter-argument for it. Okay? So you're not representing what the people want. The people want me in charge. Make no mistake. And you're just taking advantage of them being terrorized for generations and being too afraid to stand with me. And that's very sick. So I want everyone to know, when people, what you might describe as sneak diss me, sneak insult me, kind of subtly insult me, wordplay, ha 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 ha, that they're actually supporting the mass murder, the mass rape, the mass thieving that we see, the mass theft that we see going on, the mass corruption, the mass exploitation, the human trafficking, the drug overdoses. They're reinforcing a system that's consistent output is a lot of preventable deaths, a lot of horrifying behavior. Where I would have immediately, if I was in charge, and if I'm ever in charge, I would immediately increase the number of law enforcement. I'd increase the amount of oversight in society. I'd do things that a responsible, mature adult would do, which we're not seeing from any politician that we come across ever. So you think they want the rule of a bunch of you idiots who are the puppets of corporate, who point the finger at other puppets and say they're the only ones? Or do they want the rule of the morally precise leader, which is what the dawn symbolizes, the sun rising? The path of the righteous is like the morning sun shining ever brighter till the full light of day. I believe that's Proverbs 4:18. Malachi, the sun in righteousness. You think they prefer your corruption to righteousness? That's insane.